This is the Paycheck to Daycheck Reselling Podcast.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley.
Together, we have been making money online collectively for over 10 years.
Our mission is to help you start, learn, and grow a reselling business and to inspire you to turn your paycheck into a daycheck.
The world is changing, and we want to help you change with it.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Paycheck to Daycheck podcast. Today, we are going to be talking all about items to resell during Q4. So these are items that Liz and I have personally sold before, items that we are currently sourcing to sell in this Q4. Items also, some of them are good to sell all year round, honestly, depending on what platform you're sourcing for. Liz, do you want to start us off?
All right, so the items that you want to sell for Q4 during Q4 is going to be the holiday time. And everyone knows the holiday season is really one of the most popular times for selling items, especially online. People are going out and they're buying gifts, they're buying things for themselves. And really Q4 is an opportunity, if you take advantage of really stocking up on inventory, this is the time where you're going to sell a lot of things. And it's not quite Q4 right now. Right now, when we're recording this podcast episode, it is still September. So we have 1 month left, but we really wanted to do this episode, give you some ideas of the items that you should be looking for when you're going out and sourcing, or if you're looking online and you do online arbitrage. So let's start with some winter clothing. And I think it's hard for me to think it's September right now. It's still reaching 100 degrees in Arizona. So it's really hard for me to think about winter clothing at the moment. But I do realize that not everybody lives in Arizona. It is getting cooler in different parts of the country. And really winter is one of those seasons where you need winter gear. You're going to need things and people are going to be out looking for them, such as a lot of beanies sell really well. And a lot of these items can be gifts as well. So beanies, sweaters, gloves, hats, boots, really anything that is winter-esque. I'll give you guys a BOLO, so a brand to look out for. Lost Horizons. So I found these at Goodwill, and it was a hat and a fingerless glove set. And they're wool and they're handmade in Nepal. And I bought them for about $5 and then they're reselling for $35-$40. So there are specific brands that are going to be really good to look out for winter clothing. Wintertime, it's just something that, especially if you're living in a place where it snows, everybody knows like what the salt and the snow does to like winter boots. So those are things that people sometimes will buy every single winter season. And I would start by looking up winter gear, seeing what's selling on eBay, and really start stocking up on those items because they're going to be something that people are going to want for themselves, but also they could be possible gifts, such as like beanies, because I love me some beanies.
That is very true. So next up on our list, we have candles. So we wanted to kind of make this a specific thing all in itself because there's so many good candles for this time of year. So fall, winter scents, they make really good stocking stuffers. They make really good gifts, basically candles in general. So one thing that we do want to mention though, is if you are going to be reselling these candles on Amazon, there is a date where you can start sending in meltables again. Right now, it's a little bit too warm. I think, what is that date? I think it's like October 1st or something like that for Amazon. So it starts to cool down a little bit, and things like candles and chocolate and gummies, they're not going to melt in, shipping and in the warehouse and stuff like that. So just be cognizant of when that date is if you're sourcing specifically for Amazon.
All right. So another item that is something you should be looking for during Q4 in the holiday season, mugs, coffee mugs. People are drinking coffee. They're drinking hot chocolate. And those are really good gifts, especially for like teachers. They're also a good stocking stuffer. Maybe you're going to have Christmas morning and you want everybody to wake up with mugs that say Santa's helper or something like that. I know I have some for sale because I bought a bunch of Ray Dunn mugs last year. Or no, actually it was like 2 years ago. I bought a bunch of Ray Dunn Christmas holiday mugs And I still have a few. So if anyone's listening, you can check out Freeway Flipper's eBay store and hopefully I'll get those sold. But yeah, those are some things to be looking for. You can find them anywhere. Ross, Marshall's, Target, a lot of online retailers will have mugs. You could even, a lot of people do print on demand and make their own items. So you can make your own coffee mugs and then sell them on Etsy or something like that. But those are always really good items to be looking out for, especially the ones that are the holiday themed ones.
Absolutely. So next up, we have one of my favorite categories to source, and that is holiday decor. So we're talking about anything for your house, decorations, ornaments, centerpieces, Christmas lights, Halloween lights. You mentioned the coffee mugs, bathroom decor, inflatables, which is one of my favorite things to source ever for every occasion. Snow spray. Oh, gosh, last year I bought out an entire lot of the Department 56, like holiday, little village house things. And I sourced them obviously to resell them, but the house that we were living in the time had this amazing, like huge long shelf, the entire length of like the great room downstairs. And they just looked so great up there. Like it was perfect to put the villages up there. And so now they're packed up and they made the move with us. So it looks like we're keeping them.
Yeah, I was going to say those villages are really good sellers. And also, if you ever go to like Goodwill or maybe a garage sale and you find those green ceramic Christmas trees that are like vintage and they've got a plug-in and a little dial that you would turn them on, they've got the little, usually fluorescent little tiny bulbs. Those tiny bulbs go for a lot of money. We put them in Ziploc baggies and we divided them. And I think there was maybe 25, 30 in each bag. Some of them we sold for like $60.
Oh my God.
And I had no idea, but Bolo Brenda, my mother-in-law, she saw them and she's like, you need to buy these. And there's like specific glitter ones. And those are the ones that are going for a lot more money than just the regular colored bulbs. And they're just, you know what I'm talking about, right? The ceramic Christmas.
Yep, and the individual little bulbs that you put in. And sometimes they, just like a normal Christmas tree, bulb, light, whatever, they blow. So you have to replace them. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
and a lot of the good thing about the holiday decor is a lot of those, especially like the inflatable, those are good local items to sell because a lot of people, they go all out. I know here in Arizona, I feel like a lot more people might decorate out here because the weather's nice. You're not having to, not saying that people in colder climates don't, but I feel like everyone goes all out and, we don't have snow. So a lot of people like to decorate because it makes them feel like they're more in the holiday spirit. So a lot of those inflatables you would put in a yard, those are really good local sales. Also, what I did actually yesterday before, when I was prepping for this episode, I went to eBay and I searched holiday decor, went down to the filters, searched by sold items, and I was looking to see, okay, what are people buying in September? Because even though it's not technically holiday season, we still have Halloween and Thanksgiving and then Christmas, but people are buying a lot of holiday decor. There are people out there who plan ahead. And you have to remember that stuff does honestly sell year round. So maybe you can't find a lot of those items now. Keep in the back of your mind when the holiday season is over and it's January, start looking and stocking up on those items if you have space as a reseller.
Yeah, absolutely. I've already sold 3 Halloween inflatables, like for the front yard in the last 2 weeks. But there is something that I wanted to mention really quick about like how holiday decorations, decor, stuff like that. When people go to put these things away or they're starting to get them out to decorate, things might have gotten lost or broken or they're missing parts and pieces. And that's when you're going to see those sales like well before the holiday or well after, like last year, I don't think we put away our Christmas stuff until like February, but I broke one of the stocking, like little holders that sit on top of the fireplace. I broke one, it fell off and it broke. So now I want to find another one that matches. So I'm going to start searching for that, now. I really should have done it back then. But, when things break or go missing or they get lost or whatever, people will start looking for those things for a replacement item.
And piggybacking on holiday decor, also like holiday clothing. So leggings are really good. Family matching Christmas Day outfits. Oh my gosh, I refuse to do that. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. Those are good to be looking for, like the Papa Bear, Mama Bear. And those are also good designs to do. If you're doing print on demand, that would be really good. But keep an eye out for those. And then my favorite, which I just listed one yesterday, ugly sweaters. People love those, especially for work Christmas parties, holiday parties. Team ugly sweaters. I just listed one yesterday, the New England Patriots. It's a V-neck, just a cardigan sweater. I believe I picked it up at Goodwill for $5 and it'll probably go for $30, $35. People are always looking for them. You know, make sure you're looking out for the sports teams, or a lot of people do those like Santa pub crawls. I know that's really popular out here in Phoenix. They have one on the light rail every year, and our friends Ariana and Gentry go to it, and they dress up like Santa Claus, or they'll have the ugly sweaters, go around and do a pub crawl. So not just ugly sweaters, but also costumes as well. Maybe somebody's gonna dress up like Santa or Frosty the Snowman, who knows? But those are some things that you should also be looking for because they sell really good during the holidays.
Next, we have different hobby products. You want to start thinking about things that people are like really into, like different niches. The last couple of years, the Pelotons have been super popular. So different, if you come across Peloton gear, sneakers, the headphones, the weights, whatever, outdoor cycling, fishing, painting, hunting, different sports. So, you know, lacrosse, soccer, football, all that gear. Those are like great gifts that people want for the, you know, the following season. Grilling items are just huge. Like the dad grilling aprons, like the more corny they are, the better, honestly. Like, and again, with like the print on demand stuff, like that's a great idea to make your, you know, your dad or your father-in-law or uncles or grandpas their own corny grilling aprons. Any hobby that people have, just really think about the items that they need to participate in that hobby and start sourcing those items.
Yeah, more like accessory items that, you know, would make good stocking stuffers. In our house, we don't do gifts for everyone. We do it where we draw a name and then you have to buy something for that person and they have to write down a list of ideas. But in that situation, like for my dad, I could definitely buy him like books about cruises because he's obsessed with going on cruises right now. Or like with Casey, he loves cornhole. So maybe somebody could buy him cornhole bags that are Iowa Hawkeyes, you know, things like that, that make more of like personable gifts. People are looking for those items. And if you stock up on them, sometimes those items are really hard to find during the holiday season because they're sold out, or maybe they're just not in season, because there are some things that people will buy for others. I mean, here in Arizona, maybe buy a pool float for somebody. I have a Chicago Cubs pool float. You probably can't find that during the winter. So if you can find it now, especially with summer things, they're probably discounted heavily right now. So those could be items that you're looking for as well. Next up, which I'm definitely guilty of, but buying holiday festive pet gear. I know I was so sad when our dogs did not like pet costumes. However, I still bought them antlers one year, things like that. People love their animals. They love their cats or dogs. I saw really cute, which you need for your new kitty Birdie. It was like this cat house, but it was a Christmas tree and it was so cute. And I was like, oh, people would definitely go for that. But really anything like what are they, like the stockings that are filled with like dog toys or cat toys, those are really popular. Mm-hmm. They even have one-piece dog outfits where they have like the elf on the back. So when they're running, it looks like the elf is on them. Have you seen those?
Yes.
They're so cute. But things like that, I mean, everyone loves their dogs. Dog bandanas that are holiday themed, costumes, even holiday decor for pets. These dogs have been naughty or nice or something like that. You know, there's a lot of decor for pets as well.
Yes, absolutely. People are obsessed with their pets, and I'm not sure I know anyone that leaves their pets out of the holidays. So if you're not a pet person, trust us. People are obsessed with their animals. All right, so the next category that we have for you guys are grocery items, which is another personal favorite of mine. Let's talk about food items. We've got candy, specifically chocolates, Halloween candy. A lot of times those bigger, like the big bags of mixed Halloween candy, for some reason those sell like wicked well. So if you can source them for the right price, if you're flipping them on, Amazon or even maybe eBay, definitely keep your eye out for those. Start scanning them. That stuff is out now. Cookies, cookie cutters. I just thought of that. Baking mixes, hot chocolate bombs have become really popular in the last few years, and coffee is huge. All different kinds of coffee, the K-cups, the Nespresso pods, just whole bean coffee, ground coffee, Starbucks coffee, Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, they come out with that. Dunkin' has that pumpkin spice every year, and then it goes away after a certain point in the fall, and you can't get it anymore. But I found a source for it all year round, so I've been selling those K-cups all year this year. People just love it so much; they want to drink it all the time. Yeah, so the holiday-specific items, those things are discontinued after a little while. They're holiday-specific, obviously. So I kind of start stocking up on those, especially when they're on clearance. If I can find them for a low enough price, during the season, I'll get them to flip. But yeah, and I feel like every year there's like one or two items that are like the hot grocery items. A couple of years ago, like I said, it was the hot chocolate bombs. You could find them at, I think it was Walmart. It was like a specific brand. I can't think of it right now, but it did really, really well. And now it seems like everyone is manufacturing hot chocolate bombs because of that, that one year that they were so popular. But keep your eye on stuff like that. Every year there's, one or two things that just kind of go crazy.
What's your criteria for expiration dates, and what, if people are listening, what they should be looking for? Because I don't know a lot about groceries. I've done them in the past, but I know that's really important on certain platforms.
Yeah, so for eBay, as long as it's not expired, you can sell it, but you definitely need to make sure you're keeping an eye on your expiration dates. If someone buys it and it's expired, obviously that's going to create a problem. So remove your listings, and you want to keep an eye on the expiration date on eBay. As long as it's not expired, you can sell it. But if it's coming up closer to that expiration date, you want to try to sell it, obviously, before it expires. For Amazon, all right, and for Amazon, expiration dates can vary based on the item. You want to make sure that the consumer of the item has plenty of time to consume the item. Plus, I believe it's 90 days based on the amount, based on the quantity of items that are in that package. So really, you're going to want to refer to Seller Central. It depends on the item. Candy is different than coffee, for instance, and check out the expiration date, requirements for that specific item.
Yeah, so if you're out scanning and you find some grocery items, definitely look in Seller Central for those requirements, because that's very, very, very important, because you don't want to jeopardize your account. You don't want somebody to buy it on Amazon, get it, and it's already expired. That would not be good. It'll affect your seller account, so just be really aware of those things when you're looking for grocery items. Next up, stocking stuffers. So really anything that you can find. I know what I usually get in my stockings are like holiday socks, lip balm, like we said before, candles, even candy. I mean, my mom used to love putting a bunch of candy in my stocking, and just really anything that's nice and tiny. Now, one thing I was thinking of, I wonder if anyone has tried to sell actual stockings already filled, like on eBay. Show the stocking, show what you get inside.
Done for you stock. That would be a great idea, actually. Yeah. I spent way too much time last year trying to find stocking stuffers for everybody. So if I could have found even one or two of them that are already done, that would have been awesome. All right, so next up, we're going to talk about different home items. So I want you to think about things that people, need in order to host a holiday. So different kitchen tools, or, if you're starting out, your daughter's getting her first apartment. What kind of stuff is she going to need? She's going to need those kitchen gadgets, can openers, spatulas, stuff like that. They make good gifts. Pots and pans, coffee makers, Then you have your holiday themed items, again, like towels, paper napkins, paper plates. There's just so many things. Blankets, anything that you can think of that would make a good gift or that people would need to host a holiday at their house.
And like picture frames are really popular too. Like buying picture frames for someone, maybe like the world's best grandma or baby's first Christmas or things like that. Picture frames, also like wine glasses for hosting. And it could be holiday themed, could maybe just be regular wine glasses, maybe like old fashioned glasses, things like that. Those always make really good gifts for people, and people are always looking for those. And because it's Q4 is during the holiday time, gifts are huge. So what kind of gifts are you going to get? And think outside of what we've already mentioned before with like the stocking stuffers and the winter gear and things like that. But people are always looking for things like buying a kid a bike. Like bikes are really good, and maybe, selling those locally too. I know we have been finding a lot of different vintage bikes at Goodwill, so those could be things to sell. They sell on eBay, but also maybe they're going to sell locally. I know a few years ago we sold a bunch of like little tricycles that were frozen. So frozen themed, those were popular for kids. Socks and underwear are popular. Pajama sets, like we mentioned before. Definitely toys, which I feel like sell a lot more toys than I do. I usually get toys at like Ross. Sometimes if I can get a lead for like a Walmart or a Target toy, I might buy those. But what are some of the toys that you look for?
I'm not really big into watching TV, but I'll start watching commercials around like this time of year to start seeing what the toy commercials are pushing, what's going to be popular, what movies are coming out for like kids, the big YouTube channels. Like you really have to dive in a little bit to kind of know what you're going to be looking for. And then I've mentioned it before a couple times, but I start doing some sourcing and like research now for Q4. I'll go to the store, Walmart, Target, places like that, and I'll look for gaps in the toy aisle, because if it's popular now, it'll probably be a popular toy during Q4 as well. Or maybe it's a stock issue, manufacturer issue, and it's just hard to find. So you want to know, like, is it hard to find and is it popular? Or are they just not producing enough and it's not really popular? Are they discontinuing that item? You just have to kind of determine what the issue is with that toy. And then I just kind of look up sold comps and keep an eye out on different things. So a couple of years ago, the Coco Melon dolls had just come out, and it was a big thing. It was like the #1 movie on Netflix for months, it seemed like, for maybe even a year. And everyone, it seemed like, was obsessed with this Coco Melon doll. It was a lead that I came across in a group that I was in, and I found a couple of them locally, and I flipped them. I think they were $19.99 at like Walmart and Target, and I was selling them for like around $100. And it was, obviously really good money. And I went home for Thanksgiving to my parents' house, which is like 4.5 hours away from where I was living at the time. And I had a connection at a local Walmart. So I went like the night before Thanksgiving. I spoke to the toy manager. She told me what time to get there the next day. And I ended up leaving. I was there on, early, and I walked in, I met back up with her. She had just gotten her truckload of Coco Melon dolls in the night before. They hadn't even put them out on the shelves yet because she knew I was coming. She's like, how many do you want? I'm like, well, how many do you have? I think she had like 50 of them. I'm like, I'll take all of them. So I bought all these stupid Coco Melon dolls. I had a trunk full and a car full of Coco Melons.
God.
Oh my God. My parents' house was covered in these baby dolls. And my mom was so excited because I don't have kids. And she felt like finally she had like some grandkids. Oh my God. Sorry, Mom. But yeah, so there's a couple stragglers still hanging out in the storage room upstairs, but I've sold through pretty much all of them. But that was like the hot toy this year. And thank God I timed it perfectly with sourcing them, but that didn't work out for some people. Some people source them too late. Some people are still sourcing them and they're, not flipping for as much. You have to know what you're looking for and buy them at the right time and sell them at the right time to make the most amount of money. So I wouldn't source that doll again this year, most likely, unless things change drastically. I'm looking not so much for those hot items anymore, but for like this steady sellers. So Barbie dolls, Polly Pockets, stuff like that, the things that are going to sell pretty consistently that are going to be popular. And I'll also mention Legos. I'll be honest with you guys, it doesn't seem to matter what Lego set it is. Around Black Friday, if you walk into a Target or a Walmart after Black Friday, you're going to be hard pressed to find any kind of Lego set. So if you can get them on sale, if it makes sense, if you can check, Keepa and sold comps and stuff like that to see previous sales, if it makes sense for your purchase criteria, then definitely start picking them up now.
Yeah, and to piggyback on those hot items, that's awesome that you bought that many and you were able to flip them. But always, even if you find a hot toy and you buy 10 of them and you sell out really quick, when you go to buy more, check the comps, check the sales rank on Amazon. Make sure that item is still in a high demand and doesn't have a high supply. Because I think that's where people get in a big mistake during Q4. They might see somebody post, oh, look at this, item that I sold. And remember, we've mentioned this before on social media. Sometimes you're looking at people posting things that have already sold out of them. They don't have anymore.
Yep.
They might say, hey, I found this doll at Walmart and I bought it for $20 and I sold it for $75 and look at this profit. And you get really excited because, yeah, that sounds like a great lead. But by the time that person posts it, there's already been so many other people that have jumped on that item that you shouldn't be buying it. It might not work anymore. There might be just, instead of there being 10 listed and 50 sold, now there's 100 listed and 10 sold. And so the sell-through rate has completely changed from the time that you saw that lead till the time you were going to buy that lead. So always keep that in mind and always be double checking things. Don't always see a lead. And I know it does get very exciting when you do find something you're like, ooh, it's going to make me so much money. But always do your research and double check. That's so important, especially during Q4.
Like you said, to double check, and things can change so quickly. They can change from day to day and even faster than that. Honestly, if some group gets a hold of a lead and posts it to their, 2,000 members, that could tank the price very, very quickly. So you don't want to assume anything, especially during this time. You want to make sure that you're managing your capital properly, and one wrong buy can really ruin your Q4, honestly. So just double check, like Liz said, and just keep doing your research, keep checking. Kind of the last category that we have for you guys are beauty items, and we're talking about gift sets, bath bombs. Beauty tools around this time of year are huge, especially not just for gifts, but people that are traveling. Maybe their hair straightener broke in travel and they're stranded at their parents' house without a hair straightener. So they're going to try to buy one on Amazon and hope for that 2-day prime shipping. Lotions, shampoo, conditioner sets, trimmers. I know Sephora and Ulta, they do gift sets all the time and different deals. You definitely want to keep your eyes out on those items. They make great gifts, especially for people that are, they're into super specific brands of things.
Well, beauty items, I think a lot of also for men, those make really good gifts as well. So the razors, or I don't know, what is that? The beard oil or whatever, things like those. Yes. Those do very well. And you can find a lot of them during the holiday, and just keeping your eye out on those items. All right. So that was all that we have for this episode. The holiday season is, I think, my favorite season, just because you do make so much money. We wanted to do this podcast episode to get you really having your wheels turning, especially if this is your first Q4. There's a few tips that we mentioned, and also the items that you should really be looking out for, advice on things that you shouldn't be doing. Hopefully you will have a very successful Q4. Reach out to us. Let us know if there's any items that we missed or any items that you feel you always sell during the holiday season.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Paycheck to Daycheck Reselling Podcast.
Anything we mentioned in this episode will be linked down below in the show notes or description down below.
Be sure to share this episode with anyone you think it will help, and follow us on social media at P2D Podcast.
Thanks again for listening. Keep working towards that day check.